Okay, so as I was talking about the quizzes, you will get those back at the end of class. Okay, you're actually going to get to keep them. Okay, because all my students took it, and Miss Burns has her last student taking it right now, and then we have a retake for anybody who's left. So, Coach Buck!
Hey guys, we're the rhyme without reason today. What is it?
Luck and Buck.
Okay, you like that in my room?
Yeah.
Boom.
All right.
Look at all these cats.
I know. I got some
Coach.
smart ones in here, don't I?
Yeah, there's only one that I don't like. We'll
Yeah.
see. JK.
Which one is it?
He said JK.
He absolutely cracks me up. I can't be that funny. Is he that funny in class? Those of you who have him? Well, you guys don't have him yet.
Yeah,
do
I
you?
do.
What do you have him for? Government?
Yeah.
Do you have him all year or just half a year?
Whole year.
Like, is it a semester class or is it a full year
Well,
class?
government is a semester class, but I have in the second semester I have them too.
What do you have him for second semester?
Whatever the class is, I don't know.
Financial literacy.
Oh, financial literacy. Thank you, Julian. All right. So anyway, he's hilarious. Okay. So as I was saying, I was trying to explain to my younger kids who Buck was, and they were all looking at me like I had 5 eyes. They had no idea who I was talking about. Okay, quiz. You will get your quizzes back. You do have the opportunity to take a retake. Somebody asked, will we have any more quizzes this 9 weeks? The answer is no. All we have left this 9 weeks. Josh is spilling his water. Okay, all we have left this 9 weeks is a test. And tests aren't retakeable. So, some of you might want to consider retaking this quiz. Keep in mind on the retakes, the maximum score you can achieve is a 90. Now, that does not mean I take 90% of what you get on the retake. That's not what I do. It's just that if you get 100% on the retake, I bump you down to a 90. If you get a 95 on the retake, I bump you down to a 90. But if you get a 90 on a retake, you get the 90 on the retake. Okay? So it's not that I take 90% of the grade. Like I said, you get 1 retake this 9 weeks and 1 next 9 weeks. So I would expect that some of you might want to take advantage of that. If that's you, at the end of class, we'll make a list of when you're going to do that. It needs to be done within 1 week from today, outside of school time, or outside of class time. Over lunch is fine. Any study hall is fine. Just let me know when you guys want to do that, and we'll take care of it. Questions about how retakes work? Okay, so we'll talk about all that once I pass the quizzes back at the end of the period. Let's go ahead and rock and roll with 2-4. Ready, Mitch? Keep rolling. Yes. You didn't grab your phone, did you? Okay. All right, that's fine. You can put it at any time. Okay. All right. So, section 2-4. We've been talking a lot about graphing quadratics and graphing and what their characteristics look like. We're talking about the axis of symmetry and the maximum and the minimum and the domain and the range and all that fun stuff. Now we're going to switch gears and start talking about writing equations of quadratics. And there are 3 forms that we are going to use. If you are given a point and the vertex, okay, if you are given the point and the vertex, you're going to use vertex form. Y equals A times x minus h squared plus k. Vertex form. If you are given the x-intercept, or the x-intercepts in a point, you will use intercept form. It is y equals a times x minus t times x minus q. If you are given 3 points, you will write and solve a system of equations in 3 variables. And you're going to use standard form. You're going to use y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. We use standard form. Okay? So those are the three forms that we're going to work with. And I asked Miss Burns how this went because she teaches it before me in the day. So how'd the lesson go? And she said they just were confused at which form to use when. All right. Point and a vertex. Vertex form. Point and the x-intercepts. Intercept form. Okay, those are the two we're going to use today. Tomorrow we'll add in when we have 3 points. So let's take a look at the first one. Write an equation of the parabola. So parabola, it's quadratic. Okay, they're telling you it's quadratic. In vertex form. So now they're telling you in vertex form. Write it in vertex form. If it goes through this point and has this vertex. So on this one, you are given the fact that you have a point, 1, -7, and the vertex, -2, 5. So we are going to use vertex form, point and a vertex. Until you get used to these, write these forms down. Write these forms down. A, x minus h squared plus k. Write that down. Until you learn it, write it down. Every time you're asked to do one of these problems, write it down. And that way it's a process of learning it. So this is the point x, y. This is the vertex h, k. The vertex is always your point h, k. And this is just the point x, y. As with all of these, do you guys remember when we did writing equations of lines? And the first thing you had to do was find b. Okay, first thing we have to do here is find a. We have to find a. So we're going to substitute everything else in except for a because we don't know a. So what's y? Everybody. -7. We don't know a. What's x? Now you got to be careful because it's minus h. So that would be minus what? Well, what's minus a -2? Plus 2. And then plus what? 5. So are we okay so far? All I did was plugged in x, y, h, and k. The trick with h is it was x, 1, minus h, minus -1, minus a negative is plus a positive. Now, order of operations. What are you guys going to do first? Yeah, parentheses, right? What's inside your parentheses? 3. Now, what's your next order of operations? Square 3. What's 3 squared? Now, this is no different than any other linear equation that you're solving for A. What do you guys do to solve for A? Subtract 5. -12 equals. Now what? Now. Okay, saw some people grabbing their calculators. What number divides evenly into 12 and 9? 3. How many times does 3 go into 12 and into 9? That's what I'm going to leave as my A. Now you can have -1 1/3, but -4/3 is fine. So now we know A, and we know H, and we know K. H was -2, K was 5, because that was my vertex. Because just like when you solve any other, like when you solved y equals mx plus b, once you found b, you went in and plugged in m and b. Now, once you find A, you have A times x minus h squared plus k. You're going to plug in for A, H, and K. So we're just going to come in and say, okay, y equals, what's A? What was A, everybody? -4/3. So we don't, x, and then minus -2 would be what? Plus 2, plus what? Because now I can look at this equation. I know that it opens down has a vertical stretch by 1 1/3. It goes, oops, I forgot my squared, shame on me. Goes left 2 and up 5, which would give me a vertex of -2, 5. Okay, so again, how do we feel about that one? Are we good? Okay, let's take a look at the word problem. Now you have the graph shows the parabolic path of a performer. You're not going to have any idea how to do that problem tonight. It needs to look just like mine. Come on. Parabolic path of a performer who is shot out of a cannon. I mean, really? Like, this is where I try to sell myself. I really shouldn't care if you don't, but okay. The graph shows the path of a parabolic path of a performer who is shot out of a cannon, where y is the height in feet and x is the horizontal distance that they have traveled from that cannon. So if you've ever been to a circus and seen some of these acts, the performer lands in a net that is 90 feet from the cannon. Okay, so 90 feet from the cannon, they land in the net. What is the height of the net? What is the height of the net? All right, well, we know 2 pieces of information. I know I have a point. It is the point 0, 15. Yes, it is the y-intercept, but it's really not, we don't have any information that's special to the y-intercept. And we also know the vertex is the point 50, 35. Okay, that's the vertex. It's the highest point on that parabola. So if I give you the point and the vertex, which equation are you guys going to use? Vertex form, which is y equals a times x minus h squared plus, okay. Remember, this is the point xy. This is the vertex hk. So let's plug in. What are y'all going to plug in for y? 15. We're trying to find a. What's x? Minus h, 50, quantity, squared, plus k, 35. Is everybody okay with how I just plugged in those numbers? Now we're going to chug away. Order of operations. What are you guys going to do first? Parentheses. Inside the parentheses, what's 0 minus 50? -50. What math do we do next? Square what? Now, you should know in your head that a negative times a negative is a positive, and 50 times 50. Well, 5 times 5 is 25, add 2 zeros. Okay, but if you're not that intuitive without your calculator, it's really important that if you square 50, -50, you do what? Parentheses and square it. Otherwise, you will get -2,500, and it's not -2,500, it's positive 2,500. All right, what are we going to do next? Subtract 35. What do you guys, what's 15 minus 35? -20. What do we do now? Divide by 2,500. And when I do, now I can take -20 divided by 2,500. And I get negative what? 0.008. So negative 0.0008 is equal to A. You also need your vertex, which is HK. That was given to you at 50 and 35. So now we're going to go back. I'm going to write that formula again. Y equals A times X minus H squared plus K. So when you guys plug in, what do you get? Y equals -0.008 times X minus 50 squared plus 35. There's your equation. I would ask you for the equation first. This problem didn't ask you for that. I would ask you for that on the quiz or test. Now that we have this information, it asks you what the performer lands in a net that is 90 feet from the cannon. So 90, is that X or Y? X. So they're saying when X is 90, what is the height? Remember, the height is always our Y value. How high is the net off of the ground? So what do you guys do with that 90? Plug it in. Negative 0.008, 90 minus 50 squared plus 35. Now, guys, you have your graphing calculator. It recognizes order of operations. Negative 0.008 times 90 minus 50 squared plus 35. Put it all in as one step. And how high up is the net? Yep. The net is 22.2 feet. Okay, so both example 1 and example 2, you were given a point and the vertex. Point and the vertex. Vertex form. Vertex form. Thoughts there? Okay, next one. Okay, next one. Write the equation of the parabola that passes through the point 25 and has the x-intercepts of -2 and 4. Okay, so what do we know? We know we have a 0.25 and we have x-intercepts of -2 and 4. Which form am I going to use now? Intercept form. Y equals A times X minus P, X minus Q. So this is the point XY. One of these is P, one of these is Q. It does not matter which one you be is P and which one is Q. Your x-intercepts can be in any order. So once again, we need to find A. So what are you guys going to plug in for Y? 5. We don't know A. What's X? So we have 2. Now 2 minus -2. What's that give you? +2. And now X again. What's X again? 2 minus Q, which is 4. Order of operations. PEMDAS. Parentheses. Do you have any work to do inside your parentheses? Yes. What's 2 plus 2? What's 2 minus 4? Next order of operations. What are you guys going to do? Multiply. 4 times -2. What's 4 times -2? -8A. Now it doesn't matter if you have 8 times -8 times A or 8 times -8, but usually you put the variable at the back, right? Now what do we do to solve for A? Divide by, careful, -8. And what's A? -5/8 is A. You need A, you need P, and you need Q. Those are the pieces that you need to plug it back in. You leave X and Y. So when I plug that back into A, P, and Q, what is my final equation? Well, Y equals, what's A? -5/8 times X plus 2 times X minus 4. What do we know about this parabola? The negative's going to make it what? Reflect over X. Open down. The 5/8 is going to make it vertically shrink, so it'll get wider. This has an x-intercept of -2. This has an x-intercept of 4. We're done. Okay? It's not bad if you learn the equations. Write them down as you're learning them. It will help you. Last one. Meteorologist creates a parabola to predict the temperature tomorrow, where X is the number of hours after midnight and Y is the temperature in degrees Celsius. Write a function that models the temperature over time. So first thing, write the function. Let's do that first. Well, what point? You have to look at what information did they give me. Okay, yeah, they gave me the y-intercept, but guys, has the y-intercept been any special point yet to us? No. So we're just going to call the y-intercept a point. They gave us a point. That point is 0, 9.6. But 40 and 24, those are important. Those are the what? X-intercepts, right? Let y be 0. So the x-intercepts are at 4 and 24. So I'm going to say this is the point x, y. The x-intercepts are p and q. So since I give you x-intercepts in a point, which formula are you going to use? Intercept form. Get used to writing it. You've got to learn these. What is intercept form? A times x minus p times x minus q. I mean, both of them start out as y equals a times something. Okay. So now let's plug and chug. What's a? Or what's y, excuse me? 9.6. We don't know a. What's x? 0 minus 4 times 0 minus order of operations. What are you guys going to do first? Parentheses. So subtract first. What do you get when you subtract inside there? What's 0 minus 4? What's 0 minus 24? Next order of operations. What are you guys going to do now? Multiply. What is negative 4 times 24? So we have 9.6 equals 96a. Keep going. Divide by what? And when you divide 9.6 by 96, what do you guys get? 0.1. So we have a. We had P was 4 and Q was 24. So when I plug back into my equation, everything except for x and y, I get. All right, try this again. I get y equals, what's a? 0.1 times x minus 4 times x. Now, I said it didn't matter which x-intercept you put first, because does it matter when you're factoring which factor you put first? Okay, so you can have those two factors flip-flops. If you have x minus 24 in front of x minus 4, that is fine. So that part's done. Now, what is the coldest temperature? Okay, coldest temperature. Well, that would be the minimum. What is the minimum? And some of you missed this on your quiz. What is the minimum? Where is the minimum? The what? Y coordinate of the what? Vertex. The maximum or the minimum, either one, is the y coordinate of the vertex, not the x coordinate of the vertex. All right, so I got to find the vertex. I'm in intercept form. You know the x-intercepts. How do you find the axis of symmetry? Add them up. Divide by 2. So the axis of symmetry, you're going to add up 4 plus 24, divide by 2. What's 4 plus 24? What's 28 divided by 2? 14. That's the vertical line that cuts this parabola in half. So kind of look at it. Does that look like it's at about x equals 14? Yep, that is not the minimum. Now what do I do with 14? Plug it in. Y equals 0.1 times 14 minus 4 times 14 minus 24. And now, guys, again, graphing calculator or any calculator for that matter that you guys have, 0.1 times 14 minus 4 times 14 minus 24. Just type it in. And what do you guys get? Did you guys get negative 10? So what does that mean? The coldest temp was what? Was negative 10 degrees. And what units were we in? Celsius. Now we're going to add the third method to this tomorrow. Okay, we're going to add the third method to this tomorrow. That one's a little bigger. 2 through 12 even, page 76.